Episode 1, 0, 2, 0 of Down to Dunk. You can find us on The Athletic and anywhere else you subscribe to your podcast. Go to theathletic.com/down to dunk and get The Athletic for $3.99 a month. I am Luke, joined this morning by Andrew.
But I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Woo!
Slam through.
Taylor.
Which bear is the most condescending? A pan, duh. Slow down. Grab the wall. Look like you're trying to make your ass fall off. Hella dig, I want to smash them on now. Speed up. Slam through.
And Jay.
It's Jay.
Thanks for the inspo this morning.
You're welcome.
On that song. Jay walked in singing that song.
I don't know why.
So have you guys had some thoughts since Tuesday night?
Yep. The thoughts are, guys, it's a six player draft.
We're good.
I don't
We're fine.
I don't know if you're really saying that or not, but what I do know is that I think if I was predicting in the Thunder stay at 6, I actually don't know if Scotty Barnes is available there.
That's fine. That means one of the other ones is available.
I think the Thunder may have a better shot at Kuminga by the time the draft rolls around.
Yeah.
Listening to, I think as a lot of probably fans have done, is just consume as much post lottery speculation as possible. And if you hear some of that going on, and then on top of that, you've got all of the combine numbers that are coming out and the interviews, like Scotty Barnes is moving. My assumption is he's going to be one of those guys that rises, and
You could go as high as 4.
honestly, like you could even convince yourself, like, does Cleveland say, man, this is a piece that we don't really have?
It's true. They really don't.
Like a big guy that's, could run power forward. He could play next to Jared Allen. He could play small ball center. We can keep,
he can handle too.
Yeah.
Like he can be your secondary or even primary handler if you needed him to be.
And the Cavs got a lot of choices to make. And that's the one I think that has been the most intriguing since the lotteries. What do they do with that 3 pick? And I think Brett mentioned that somebody had said that they're more likely to trade probably Colin Sexton than the 3 pick.
Yeah.
I don't know what the market is for Sexton. I'm assuming it's not great, to be honest with you. But I don't know. There's a lot of intrigue. But one of the things that did make me feel at least a little more confident is when you start listening to enough guys. And KOC and Ryan Russillo did a post-lottery pod, and they talked quite a bit about the draft. And both of them are guys that I trust. I know Kevin O'Connor has had some swing and misses, but everybody does. Honestly
does, yeah.
But the things that they're excited about is they think there's a ton of depth once you get past the top 4 anyway. Both of them are extremely high on Keon Johnson, which hearing them talk about him sounds kind of Presti-esque. Like, guy didn't start playing basketball until high school. Have y'all done your breakdown of him yet?
Yeah, I think he's bad.
Do you?
Yeah.
They both they both are so intrigued by his physicality and the ability he has to fly around the court.
I mean,
Set the
athletic.
vert record at the combine.
Athletically,
2.5 inches.
yeah, athletically, he's a wild man, and he's going to dunk on guys.
And trust me, that's
We are on video.
That's plenty. That's plenty. All right.
a lot of people say that's more than enough.
He just doesn't shoot it at all.
Yeah.
Like none, 0. He doesn't shoot it.
It seems problematic.
That seems bad.
It's bad.
That's not good.
He doesn't really create for himself unless it's on the drive. Just does. There's just not a lot to him besides the athleticism, and he's only 6'5". He's not 6'8". He's not like this big wing that's like crazy athletic, and you just believe he can get there. And then the defense is like all over the place. Like he is just all over the place.
So what you're saying is he shouldn't be playing basketball. He should just be doing high jump in the Olympics.
Well, so that's a swing for the fences. If a Thunder, for me, is I don't know what Sam would do there, but that feels like something if I was Orlando and I had 2 picks in the top 10 and you felt like somebody else was going to jump in and take him as just hey, he has a high ceiling, but also an incredibly low floor.
Yeah.
Let's take a shot on him. Like Orlando could do that and not expend too much, unless Orlando's the one that uses those picks to move forward a little bit. So,
his shooting splits are 44, 27, 70.
Yeah,
not bad for a jumper though, Andrew. Don't forget he can jump.
Right.
What's
he's
funny is
more turnovers than assists. I mean, there's just like a lot of things where like, man, he is the definition of a project.
Yeah, super raw. One of the things that people keep talking about with Scotty Barnes is the lack of shooting, which is absolutely true. And if you look at his numbers in college, it's not only did he not shoot a lot, but he didn't shoot a good percentage when he did shoot. I think he averaged 1.5 or 1.7 a game. And but I did just a little bit of brief kind of look and looked at Draymond Green. Like, Draymond hasn't been historically like much above. I think he's 31% on his entire career from the 3-point line.
Yeah,
that's the easiest comp that people have for Scotty Barnes, right? Like, I think it's maybe kind of a lazy comp.
Draymond is so good at everything else, though.
Yeah, but
like Draymond's never been considered a good 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but him being able to actually shoot was the reason, because his best shooting season was the 73 win season, right? So when the Warriors were at their best, he was at least somewhat of a threat where you had to guard him from the 3-point line, at least a little bit. And so that's the easiest comp that a lot of people are making with Scotty Barnes. And every time that Mike Schmitz interviews him, it's always like, oh, watch this clip of Draymond Green. What do you think about this? And how do you see yourself in this? But I don't know. For me, I think it's probably this, what do you call it? Making sunshine, like I'm creating sunshine or whatever you called it.
Pocket full of sunshine.
But recognizing that you more than likely the Thunder are going to miss out on Jalen Green, Suggs, Mobley, and Cade. I think if you're in that 6 range, like I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and they're still not even. Every mock draft we have so far is purely based on media members' assessment of players. Like they're not quite to the place where they're gathering the rumors or the thoughts of what these different teams are doing. And that's an important thing to kind of remember as we move forward too.
And also if those players are nice to them when they talk to them. Like media members seem to grow a little bit of bias when like GMs talk to them a little bit more or players talk to them and are nice to them a little bit more. Like, maybe there's more to this guy than I thought. That's good character, Well,
there's also the thing that if they're like a good person, I think you're more likely to believe in what they can do.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Which could be true or it couldn't. We just don't know. It doesn't necessarily define what you are as a basketball player.
Right.
I think where I would take something from that is when you look at a guy like Scotty Barnes, and this is a bad comp, and I'm not trying to make it, but you look at a Scotty Barnes versus a Ben Simmons. And the thing that's coming up with Ben Simmons is all of those things where Scotty Barnes kind of moves in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
There's an entitlement. There's a lack of work ethic or a lack of wanting to try hard on the floor, or be the guy. Like
just questionable stuff. There was questionable stuff at LSU with him.
Yep.
Where it's like he doesn't play defense. Like what's going on here? He has all the physical tools to play defense. Why isn't he doing that? Like,
and so often you just chalk that up to the fact that it's like, well, it's college ball, and a lot of these high prospects when they play, it's kind of But it was pretty clear that there's some indicative stuff, and we've also. His stock could not be lower. And so we're talking about like a multiple time All-Star. But I think that's the thing. Scotty Barnes is, in my opinion, is going to move up draft boards because of not just the physical freakness of who he is, but also I think that intangible, high motor, incredible competitor, defender. Like there's just stuff like that makes me think. I know a lot of Thunder fans are like, hey, Scotty's a great consolation prize. I wouldn't be so certain that he's going to be there.
I wouldn't either. I have no clue who will be there, to be honest. I think that it will likely be Kuminga that will drop, but we don't know. There could be something that happens between now and then and one of the other guys drops.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'd be happy with Kuminga.
Yeah, he is also a huge project. He's a little bit more refined as a player than Keon Johnson is. He's got a ways to go though. Like he's just so inconsistent. I mean, in a maddening way, where you watch him for 5 possessions in a row and you're like, this dude doesn't know how to play basketball. And then he'll come down the court and hit a step back three, and you're like, oh, okay, like there it is, and then he'll just fly in out of nowhere for like a block, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then he'll take this shot where you're like, why? Like he doesn't know what anybody else is doing on the court. Why would he take that? It's just, I mean, it's that's his G League experience.
But he's probably physically the most like stunning player in the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's, I think that's definitely true.
Like broad shoulders, 6'8", 6'9".
He's the only like real wing in the top 10.
Other than Cade. I mean, Cade's 6, everybody's 6'6".
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Cade will play guard.
Yeah.
He'll play guard. He may be a wing.
So Kuminga is the guy that you're going to throw out like, hey, we've got to guard Durant, or we've got to guard Paul George or Kawhi or any of these kind of small forwards.
Yeah. And he wants to do it. And he's from Congo. We've had players from Congo here before.
We know how to make them comfortable here.
I mean, I think he's I think he's an interesting player, and he's really young. Like Kuminga's runway, there's a lot there for him. And I think the Thunder are a great landing spot for Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, if you talk about landing spots for him, like Toronto would be great. I hate it. I hate the Orlando spot for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
he's a little redundant with Isaac too.
A little bit. Isaac's more of a 4.
But you don't care about that if you're the Magic. You're just accumulating pieces.
Yeah, whoever you think is the best. I hope they don't think it's him just for his sake.
But I also see that's kind of Orlando's thing though. Isn't that what they do? They get these like just physical.
Yes, I know.
And then they don't do anything.
And like none of them have ever reached their potential.
Yeah.
Like none of them.
Don't you think Aaron Gordon is better? Do you think of Aaron Gordon as a better player now that he's on the Nuggets than you did?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Really?
He didn't make a 3 in the round that they lost.
Yeah, I mean that round was pretty bad. But come on, give him some time.
Give him some time, man.
Do you think he's better? No. Give him some time.
Hey, come on. Maybe you'll change your mind.
But I love the fit with Kuminga in OKC just because they are.
Oh, it's
development only.
Mm-hmm.
If they win games or lose games, who cares? As long as we're getting better.
He
that's
could be
what's
on
going on here.
Where he's next to Dort, where it's like, okay, we're kind of Bash Brothers out here, like defenders. We can just athletic freaks. And you know what? We got my buddy Poku over here who could not be more opposite the player of me. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, give him some.
We could be a team of weirdos, man.
It would be great.
That video of Poku, he looks so funny.
It's tremendous. You can raise your mic up.
I don't know how.
Does he seem? So here's the question about that video.
That's a lot better.
Does anybody? I mean, is there any doubt that everybody that's in that hallway feels so uncomfortable? Do they love it?
100%.
Do they love it, or are
that.
they like, please stop?
Okay, I think if he does that and then he goes out and has one of his terrible Poku games, I think it's very annoying. I think if he does that and then he has
and then beats the Clippers and ruins the NBA lottery.
Yeah, then I think
Thunder.
it's like Poku, you son of a.
I watched it and just thought, I want him to be a superstar.
So bad.
That was my thought when I saw it. Just because if this guy is a superstar, it changes the world.
It changes everything.
It's the best. It is the very best.
I am incredibly intrigued to see what the Thunder look like if Poku does any kind of development.
Yeah.
Starting as a rookie at 14 years old was, there's a lot of room.
It was illegal, but
there's a lot of room for growth. I don't know. And we're not at this position in the process of building this roster, but Kuminga also he fits a positional scarcity for the Thunder.
Without a doubt.
They don't have anybody that is his size that plays his position. Like he's thinner than Roby, but they're the same size. Yeah, but he actually plays.
And he's a wing.
Yeah, he's a wing. So that's the thing. Like I said, the Thunder are not building that way. They're going to take the best available, probably for the next 3 drafts.
And Kuminga would help them to be bad next year. If you're looking at a player that would fall to them, that would maximize their ability to be back in the lottery with like maybe a similar position to where Toronto was. where you're just playing the young guys, you're winning games. Shea's gotten better, Poku's gotten better, great. You're still losing a ton of games because Kuminga's not ready on offense. He's not ready on defense.
Poku's getting.
I think he'll barely
38
be
minutes.
I think he'll like just turn 19 when the season starts. I mean, yeah, Poku, Baisley's still developing, and that's what you do. To me, that's like the best outcome there. If you take Barnes, he's probably going to help you a little bit next year. If Jalen Suggs becomes an opportunity for you, he's probably going to help you next year. I don't think Kuminga helps you. If Keon Johnson happens to be the guy that Thunder love, Keon is not going to help you next year.
He's a 3-year, maybe.
Is a huge project. Jalen Johnson, if that's their guy, he's not going to help you next year.
The kid from Duke.
Yeah,
man. I think he'll be the fall guy. I think he'll fall pretty substantially.
He definitely should. He was not very good at Duke,
and then he abandoned the team.
He did it twice. He did it in high school. He did it in college. You think you want to bring that guy to Oklahoma City when you talk about bailing? Like,
it's like a Mitch McGary decision where the Thunder know that there are some question marks and just say, let's just give it a shot.
He walks out of the interview.
I
think we kind of liked him.
There's somebody I know that Andrew, and this is, I think the intriguing thing for me as well is like, okay, so say the Thunder stand pat as far as 6, 16, 18. I think one of the biggest questions is what do they do with those two later picks? Because if they can move up to 10, 11, you're putting yourself in play with guys. I know Andrew's been a fan of Josh Giddey for a while, but the 6'8", 6'9", like point god kind of player, like doesn't have, one of the things that Russillo was saying is he's not the greatest finisher at the rim, but ton of skill, incredible passer, and also gigantic. His dad, I think, was a professional player as well. There's some people in that range that are super intriguing. James Bouknight's another one that just kind of a bucket getter. That's where I think that, because remembering Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, there are players in that 9 to 13 range that can really shape your franchise.
Hoopers.
Bouknight could be that because and I talked to Sam Vecini the other night about it. He said that he literally had 10 uncontested shots the whole season at UConn.
Oh, wow.
He was like, that is not an exaggerated number. I didn't make that up.
Whoa.
Like, that's the number. And if he can be, because he wasn't a great long range shooter, but if you get him to the NBA and now he has space and he's going to take 200 uncontested shots.
What if that's a him problem and he keeps dribbling to his defenders?
It was that UConn had nobody, and they were like, just guard him with 3 guys all night.
Zaire Williams is another one that I know he just did not have a good year. High prospect out of high school. His measurables, like being almost 6. I mean, he's almost 6'9".
It's so if you were to say his prototype, he's 6'9", wing, long arms,
thin,
should be able to really shoot it.
Yeah, but he didn't show any of that at Stanford. But there's a ton of parts of there's real valid excuses as to why he wouldn't have been comfortable in Stanford.
The only workout videos I've seen of him post his college season is him shooting threes.
Yeah.
That's his value right there. That's his stock right there. Can he hit threes?
I take a swing at him.
I would too. And that's why I think there are a lot of I know it's so easy to be disappointed. And I think as Thunder fans, you have to, anybody that's processed what happened on the lottery night, Oklahoma City was the clearest loser of the evening.
It was bad.
Going in with a 50% chance roughly of getting 2 picks in the top 5 and landing with 6.
Flip of the coin, Jay.
Flip of the coin.
And it's a good thing we didn't have a big party to celebrate it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that made it better or worse. I don't know what I would have been if I would have just been at home.
I think it's way more depressing at home.
That's what I think too.
Because you're just sitting there I'm sitting here with my family. Nobody understands.
Nobody.
Right.
Right. And I'm just
more than likely, me trying to prioritize that at my house is no, get up and do something else.
Right. And then afterwards, they're like, why are you upset? And then I try to explain it. And they're like, well, that's dumb.
We got the 6th pick instead of the 5th pick. What do you not understand?
You got to understand the opportunity. And
They're
they're
saying
like,
it's a 5-person draft.
why
My
aren't
wife's
you
like, what are you talking about?
right? What are you, like, come outside. Stop this.
But I'll tell you, I think it is probably important for us to stop. And I know Andrew said this a few times, and we did say it in a live pod that was unfit for air. And after the
Is that what was decided? It was probably awful, wasn't it?
The audio was so bad.
Live pod audio is never
It's never
enough
good.
to
It's just not
post.
good.
Yeah, that was some of the worst, though.
Yeah.
well, good for us.
Yeah.
Also, we're like always a little too juicy after those two, if you know what I'm saying.
Hyped up.
Yeah. A little juiced up.
All I wanted to say is that it's still like insane that you all came out and listened and watched that with us.
It was great.
It was
It was
so much
fun.
fun. And I also want to say thanks to L-Man and Amy, Andrew's
Yeah.
wife.
Yep.
L-Man did a lot of the legwork to get the baskets kind of organized, and then Amy put them into things that, were takeable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
She bought
baskets
cereal and put
cereal.
like a little bag of cereal
And
in
so,
each bag. Yeah.
Man,
Or basket.
I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy the amount of excitement that was around that night. And we're going to do a draft party. We just don't know what that's going to be or look like quite yet, because seeing the amount of turnout for that made us think,
Because like it could be a really exciting night because the opportunities are there for the Thunder to trade up, to trade back. We don't know who they'll select at 6. There's just a lot of mystery around what will happen. And they have 5 picks in the first 35 or 36, I think.
it's going to be a busy
They're
night.
not going to take all of those guys. There's going to be moves made. They have
for more guys.
for more picks.
More picks.
They're going to have 13 players from this draft. No, I think that they're going to. There's something will happen either before that night or on that night. I mean, I don't think it's guaranteed that Kemba Walker isn't traded that night. I think there's just a lot. There's a lot of intrigue. So be there.
Yep.
Or be square.
Be there where we don't know where yet.
It's here in Andrew's backyard, actually.
Party at my house.
That'd be actually kind of fun.
It would be
But
fun.
also,
Andrew,
heck
you don't
no.
want that.
I definitely don't.
You don't want that.
I definitely don't.
We'd have to bring out porta potties, and it'd be a whole mess.
Oh, we would have to bring out porta potties.
Food trucks.
Or just go out to the field.
Yeah, it works for
Yeah.
most people.
People would sneak in your house, like get in your bed, take selfies in your bed, like
This is Andrew's bed.
bed.
Gross.
Gross.
All right. Should we go to the stream?
Yeah, and then we probably should talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Evan Christian says, "What's up, boys?"
Hey, what's up?
Miguel Davila say, "It's Jay." Hybrids here. Cricket Mad 27 said, "Thoughts on the Lopo suggesting Wiseman 7 and 14 could be an option for the number 1 pick?" Laughing emoji.
Hmm.
Who
My
said that?
thoughts?
Zach Lowe said that.
My thoughts is Lowe's been a wild man this season.
It's been a while, man. That's a wild comment there. Caleb Jones asks, given Shea's age, his desire to win, and how good he is now, how big of a loss is it that we didn't get a top 3 pick in this draft? Has the rebuild plan changed?
How much do you believe in Shea? Do you really believe in him or not? Then don't worry about it.
Shea's going to get a fat contract that's going to make him feel better.
Shay's going to get a big contract, and we don't know what this is going to look like. So, I mean, that's I think what kind of made everybody a little bit nauseous on Tuesday was like, does this mean another 3 years of mediocrity or terror? And we don't know. We have no idea.
Miguel Davila says, "Is L-Man a hologram?"
Yes.
Look at
The
it.
way the light.
Are you
hits
glowing?
The way the light hits him, he does look like a hologram. This is a great opportunity for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see hologram L-Man.
I'm zooming in, or I'm being hologrammed live in from places unknown.
Hoopsock69 says Jay looks jacked. Tyler Carroll, our lottery man, says hello from Dallas. And how dare the lottery balls give us the most probable outcome? Yeah, that's something. Jeff Bell is in
Makes me feel
Taiwan.
like-
Wow. Everybody's asking about Amen glowing. Jimmy Woodpecker is here.
Are you pregnant?
Michelle George is here. Asking about Cleveland's third pick. I think it's up for grabs. If they want additional picks, the Thunder will have that. If they want another high pick in the draft and Orlando wants to trade up, that will be it, right?
It's hard. Yeah. Or the thing about it is you're going to, more than likely, if you're the Cavs, you're accumulating other draft picks to get a player, not to draft like, oh, the Cavs really want 3 rookies this year to match. They're going to take that and try to turn it into somebody else. That's why somebody, and I can't, and I'm sorry if you're listening, I don't give you credit, but there was somebody that kind of had this like real chaotic trade with a bunch of pieces, but it was Simmons to the Cavs, Love to Oklahoma City, and then Kemba to Philly, and then the picks kind of slotted in different places to make like something that would be intriguing to every team. And it moved the OKC up to 3. And I think basically the Sixers got the 6th pick. The Cavs could just avoid that, but the Sixers aren't in a place where they're like, yeah, we'll take the 3 pick. That sounds great.
Yeah.
If CJ,
unless they could turn it for whoever,
right?
You know.
If CJ for Simmons is actually on the table, wouldn't you rather do that if you're Philly?
CJ versus Kemba?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I don't know that I love either of that for Simmons.
Well, no, but like, what is the value? You should have traded Simmons earlier then.
Yeah, I agree. They've screwed up.
Yeah. Morey.
Totally.
Genius.
It's kind of more Elton Brand, but Morey had 1 year with this roster.
No, I'm talking about if Morey had Simmons for Harden, if that was real.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it.
I don't think that's real. I don't think Fertitta would have allowed that trade.
Sam Amick told me that he thought that they were using the Sixers for leverage.
Oh.
So.
Well, if Morey's really good, then he could go.
They're using the Sixers for
right?
leverage for what they got from the Nets?
I guess, man. I don't know, bro.
That's a good point.
Like, what did they get? Kelly Olynyk in the end?
They're like high fiving. We're like, we got him. We got Morey. We really pulled one over them.
That story about Ben Simmons and that coaches meeting was so sad when they were like, name one facet of his game where he has improved, and it was like crickets. That's so sad.
It's true though.
Yeah.
His rookie year, you thought he would get better from there. He has gotten kind of worse.
It's a Sixers podcast thing too. Is like that's a topic on Sixers pods all the time. Is like, okay, what has he done? Like he has not gotten better since his rookie season, and it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Jimmy Woodpecker says Andrew ... The Hawks. I've already walked back my Hawks take a little bit.
Yeah, but you have to walk it back on a national level.
Yeah,
I thought you said you doubled down
because you walked back on a Monday pod, like kind of slid it in.
I'm doing it today. I'm doing it today. Okay, we're recording today. We're having.
They're going to be the NBA champions, and
Chris,
we're going to be sitting here.
I
going,
know.
I just don't know if they went in too early.
I know. Trust me. I know. It will be the first thing I do on Slam and Jam, and then we're having Chris Kirshner, who covers the Hawks for the Athletic, on to talk Hawks. It should be.
I
fun.
mentioned this in the text thread. They feel very much like that Mavericks. Very different in the sense that Dirk.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But because we always talk about this is more than likely the champion is going to come from like the same 5 teams, from the same 5 markets, and that's how it's been forever. But there's these random outlier seasons where this random team gets to the finals and wins it. And this feels that way for the Hawks. And the Bucks, come on.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't want to see the Bucks in the finals.
They will never have this opportunity again.
Yeah. Bud, even if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and say it goes to Game 7 and they lose, Bud should probably get fired. Even that is like,
you lose to the Hawks, you should definitely be fired. If they lose this series,
man,
he should be fired.
More Hawks hate.
Hey, Jay, I do
finally sneaking up and doing damage.
I know.
Finally,
this is like truly sneaking up and doing damage.
This is the most sneaky.
Trae Young is. I watched Trae Young almost every game he played in college here at OU.
Yeah,
and I knew he'd be able to do some of these things scoring wise.
Yeah,
the fact that he is performing on this level through the playoffs, against everybody.
Yeah.
Sixers have between Simmons and Thibault, and Danny Green didn't play, I don't think, at all in that series, which is actually was a problem for the
I
Sixers.
thought he played
He at least
He
didn't
played
play the last game.
first couple of games. He
So
played. Yeah.
to be able to do this against that's premier defenders there, at least some of them. So
yeah,
to do it on that level. And then the thing that has made me the most the swagger
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
That's
the
the
trash talking.
That shimmy before the 3
unbelievable.
is wild.
the disrespect.
He is becoming
is
like
a
a
11
superstar to the extreme
Yes.
this year in the playoff run.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's the stars that you want to tune in for.
Yeah.
It's him and it's Booker.
I think it's
who's
like
left.
I think
Yeah,
on the
you don't-
Suns,
nobody-
it's like this accumulation of this. It's like Ayton, Booker, and
Chris Paul. The Suns
Yeah.
are like the feel good story.
Yeah.
Monty Williams. I mean, obviously his journey.
Yeah,
There's so many layers to
everybody's rooting for Monty Williams.
why you're pulling
Yeah.
for the Suns.
Yeah,
Even when you see him on the
Nobody
sideline.
outside of the 45 Clippers fans are pulling for the Clippers.
yeah. I mean, it's cool that Reggie Jackson and Paul George are good, but
I think if you took like a casual NBA fan poll, people intrigued by the Hawks, people want the Suns.
yeah, the Bucks are the most uninspiring Eastern Conference Finals team maybe in the history of the league.
Yeah.
You watch them and they just make scoring look impossible.
I know. How do you get to the Eastern Conference Final and make it so clunky?
Yeah,
Chris
it's like-
Middleton was so bad, he's been fantastic.
yeah,
He's been the only.
I still think the Bucks will win the series, but
I couldn't believe that they won that Brooklyn series. I really couldn't. Like they looked.
I can't believe you said that.
what?
It's almost now a lock that the Hawks are going to win that series now.
Because I said that. Yeah, I know.
It's Alex.
That's
says-
good.
Alex said the
That's
Hawks
great.
season is just one giant reverse jinx by Andrew.
He did.
Yeah, he
Really
said it in a
is.
text today.
I
But
missed that.
the best thing about it, or I saw this tweet and it said, the most telling thing about the season is that Ben Simmons was an all-star and Trae Young was not. And
Yeah.
that just shows you Trae Young has been phenomenal and he's been playing the heel and all these. He's been the bad guy. He's gone to New York and just been blatantly disrespectful
Yeah.
and
Did it in Philly.
in fun, interesting, and entertaining ways.
Yeah. Right.
He's a superstar.
And
He
so-
is without a doubt a
But
superstar.
the best thing, if you have this feel-good Suns team, it just feels like it's going to be the Hawks and Trae Young just putting his thumb in their eye over and over and over again.
It'd be great.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I hope that's the finals because a Bucks Suns finals just feels kind of But I think more people will tune in for Hawks Suns.
Trae Young has that kind of I think he has that appeal to young kids too.
Without
that
a
Steph
doubt,
has,
he's and also he's 6 foot.
Mhm.
That could be me.
Yeah.
The same Steph Curry stuff that you see.
Yeah.
It's just this guy from small town Oklahoma. Man, that could be me. I can go out there and then, as a kid, you just watched guys. I remember Iverson playing, and I would go outside and I would horrifically try to do Iverson stuff because I was like, oh my gosh, how is he doing that? And I love Shaq. And I would certainly lower my goal and try to do Shaq stuff. But if I was trying to play with my friends, you can't try Shaq stuff.
No.
You know what I mean? But you can try to do the dribble moves that Iverson did. And you can try to do the stuff that Shea does. Or I guess Shea, but Trey does.
Mhm.
If you're wide open and you shake somebody, you'll shimmy before you shoot it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He's
There's
just
a lot of
so intriguing.
little league coaches kind of hate it because one of the things they're realizing is a lot of these kids start shooting threes before they really learn proper shot mechanics.
Oh yeah. I
So
know.
they're jumping as hard as they can and throwing as hard as they
I
can.
know.
'cause they wanna shoot
I'm
threes
coaching
first.
an under 8
Yeah.
team right now.
Everybody
And
wants to be
everybody's
Steph or
I'm
Trae.
like, guys, we're only taking layups. We're rebounding, we're playing defense, we're only taking layups. The basket's wide open. That's it. So do not take a shot outside the paint.
Yeah.
But yeah, they want to. And I get it.
Yeah, I know it is, and I had a friend. We have a friend that was a youth pastor down in Westmore area. Which, if you're from out of town, that makes no sense to you. But Westmore is south of the city, and Trey went to I think Norman North.
I think he went to Norman.
Okay,
Yeah,
so either way, wherever he went in high school, my buddy was a youth pastor at a school that played them, and he remembers watching him as like a junior and going, "This is
You're right, Norman North.
this is not normal." And he was just basically like had the green light. He'd just step across half court, knock down threes, all day long.
Yeah,
and
It's just crazy how well it's translated. Like
it's crazy that that's literally what he's doing in the NBA. He's kind of just, I mean, he missed a lot of those logo shots he took the other night, but it didn't matter.
All of them miss a lot of the logo shots.
it's not a high percentage shot.
No, but it didn't even matter. He still shot 50% from the field.
If you fear that shot, that's all. That's all that
matters.
That is all that matters.
I'll tell you, John Collins had a put up or shut up playoff run, and that dude showed up.
His rebounding has been ridiculous. That corner three was the game.
Won the game.
That was the game.
And he's a good passer. Like he has a
John
full
Collins will
game.
get paid.
Yeah. When he turned down $90 million from the Hawks in January,
we thought it was stupid.
Everybody was like, "What is he doing?"
They're gonna have to trade him.
He got kind of lucky though too, because something clearly clicked with him. Like even in his interview, I don't know if you saw that interview that was going around from him where he was saying like, "Oh, I've realized now that it's much better to win, to play in a role in which your team can win, than to try to just do your own stuff."
That's surely all Nate McMillan.
Well, Nate
that has to
McMillan
be a huge part of what changed.
Nate was benching Trey too.
He's the
when he first came.
You know what the Hawks were at the All-Star break? You know what their record was?
Oh God, what?
Just guess.
I don't know. 500.
They played 36 games.
Hold on, let me get this.
500.
16-20.
They were 16-20. That's exactly right.
Wow, Jay.
They were 4 games under 500 at the All-Star break, and now they're up
3 games away from the
finals. They're 3 games away from the NBA Finals. I don't know when that's happened. That's a part of what I need. It's a part of my work today to figure out if that has ever happened. And also,
surely there's teams that turned it on post All-Star break.
Interim coach.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, has that combination ever happened where it's an interim coach and you were below 500 at the All-Star break?
I couldn't imagine that.
Isn't that? But it's crazy. It is so crazy. If you go back and look at like all the teams that have been 4 games under 500 in the history of the league, I cannot imagine that many of them have been in the Final Four.
No, I'm assuming the teams that made the runs were the ones that made some sort of substantial All-Star or trade. Like, I don't know what that Pistons team would have been that traded for Rasheed Wallace. But that would be a team I would say, like, what, I don't know what their record was at the All-Star break, but I know Rasheed came in and really changed who they were.
I doubt that they were that
but
bad.
Larry Brown was the coach the whole season.
Right.
Man, I don't know. The playoffs have been, I'm enjoying it. Last night I watched the Suns Clippers game, and the Clippers, I was talking, I think before the podcast, is if you were a Clippers fan or even somebody who didn't have like a vested interest in their demise, like Thunder fans do, the way they're playing and the way they're fighting back, I don't like Reggie Jackson. Paul George is fine. I don't have a dislike for him actually, but I want the Clippers to be bad because starting next year, we have like 5 of their first round picks and swaps. And so, but
they were 33-21.
Yeah. So they were still really good. But you look at this Clippers team and the way they're playing and fighting. And I mean, it would be actually like something you would be intrigued, like excited by if they weren't the Clippers.
Right. Like for 3 of these 4 teams, they've gotten to a spot that I guess Phoenix, they definitely got there with Nash. Those teams were freaking really, really good. But in the last 10 years, these are 3 fan bases that have really never seen their team do this before. Super fun.
Yeah.
And it expected too. The Clippers, you might expect it. Definitely the Bucks. But even with the Bucks, if you're a Bucks fan, you're still like, okay, shoot, if we can get through this round, like we could win a championship.
I think without substantial changes to their substantial may be unfair, but with changes to their roster, even currently constructed, I think that they're going to have a problem ever getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Philly's going to improve. I think the Nets aren't going to be as banged up, although I mean Harden normally is not banged up, but Kyrie has a history of injury.
Yeah, if they just had 2 guys, they'd be there.
I think Spencer Dinwiddie, even if he was healthy,
like
there's a chance that they would have actually won that Bucks.
Or if Joe Harris had a pulse.
What in the
That's
world?
so bad.
But I think that the Bucks, like this is your shot. And coming from a fan base that knows that, hey, it's not guaranteed that this ever happens again.
This could be it,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. This could be it.
Wake up.
You just gotta, you gotta figure it out and win this series. Because
Yeah.
I think the Bucks would be favored in the finals too, whoever
Mhm.
came out of the West. So anyway, I don't know. I've enjoyed the playoffs. We haven't even, it's funny, like, I don't know if I was the only one that watched it, but I mentioned the end of the Suns game 2,
Mhm.
where Ayton got the alley-oop for the win.
So sick.
Wildest end I've ever seen. Also the longest 2 minutes in the history of basketball. I think at 30 minutes to finish the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Also, Jay Crowder always on that team.
I know. I love
Jay Crowder is
man.
just always on the team,
Except for on the
making
Cavs.
plays.
Except for when he was on the Cavs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a perfect pass.
Yes. Well, I heard someone saying too. Oh, Amin El Hassan was talking about how it's like he was saying actually that's a really easy pass, and it was Ayton that had to finish it because you can't throw the ball above the rim. So Crowder,
Yes, you can.
no, he was saying you couldn't if the ball goes above the rim and he catches it and it's like directly above the rim. Then
They said there's no goaltending.
There's
on
no
an inbound.
goaltending on an
there's no
inbound pass.
goaltending on
Yes, I mean is
I mean, it's
1,000% wrong,
incorrect.
and that's
And he also wasn't listening to the broadcast because that was like all they talked about.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
this is, and it's only been done by the Suns. And Zach Lowe
The
had Jay
Tyson
Triano
Chandler.
had Jay Triano on his pod yesterday, and Jay Triano was the one who ran the play. And Jay made sure with the officials that, hey, listen, there is no way to goaltend on an inbounds play
Oh,
because it's not technically like a shot when you're throwing it in.
wow,
It's a pass, and so
I mean,
it's-
it's big idiot.
you big idiot. I mean, this is a loophole, and so you can throw it, and also it goes the other direction too. If you're a defender and the ball
You just swipe
goes
it.
like if you're Rudy Gobert, like you should just swat it away every time if
Yeah.
it comes near the rim because it won't be goaltending.
But it's. I know that there's no goaltending and all of that, but that's still such a crazy finish.
It was insane.
Like Booker gets smashed on a pick. Ayton jumps up, defended by Zubac.
Mm-hmm.
Zubuk. I don't know how to say it. Zubac.
Zarante.
And that's happened. It was just incredible. And I
Mhm.
watching Ayton's
Yeah,
Mm.
development.
Dude, that's another guy who this playoffs he's really solidified. Okay, this guy is really good.
It's all of the things that people were talking about whenever he was in the draft conversation. And he is so smooth around the basket.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he
really
can
good.
finish with, he's got a little baby hook. Like he's just a really, really
What's his field goal percentage in the playoffs so far? It's got to be
80?
like 65 to 70%.
72%.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And he's taking like quite a bit of field goal attempts.
Yeah, he did have a fade. He did have one of those Embiid fadeaway jump shots that just was wildly unnecessary last
Mhm,
night that he
yeah.
missed. But
He's allowed.
for the most part, he's
Ten-
been great.
10 field goal attempts per game.
He's doing what Gobert couldn't, punishing the
Gobert.
Clippers when they go small.
Can
Yeah.
you believe there was a discussion from some people saying like Gobert should be the MVP of the league this year?
Yeah, those people are wrong.
It's a bad take.
That is a really bad take.
It's a bad take. All right, we'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back.
We're back.
It's maybe the most
After that
basketball we've
quick
ever talked to start a podcast.
Well, we're
not done yet.
For all the haters of the Fry Pod, here's your basketball.
You get it all.
Well, and just wait.
Oh,
I
you
got-
got basketball too?
I got basketball too.
Wow, I got basketball
Oh,
too.
Man, all right.
Which
Hold on.
John's back joint bigger in victory.
Slam the whole board.
John's back joint bigger in victory.
Tayshawn's Factor Victory. I'm Tayshawn. So,
Deschamps.
Deschamps.
Tayshawn de Garçon.
Deschamps de Gasson.
My croissant.
Ooh, un pain chocolat.
Help us. Help.
Comme si, comme ça. So, Terrence Mann, Campaign, John Collins, all these guys we're talking about that are really showing out in the playoffs. Specifically, Campaign and Terrence Mann, two people, you're not even talking about them in the season until the last round or two, right?
Yeah.
So, what's been your favorite playoff show out of the last 10 years?
I like anything Nate Robinson brought to the table during the playoffs.
Okay.
The Nate Robinson Big Baby combo with the Celtics was very fun. You had Nate Rob jumping on the back of Big Baby.
That was fun.
And then,
God, I miss Big Baby baseline jumpers, man.
oh my gosh, he's so big. And then Nate Rob with the Bulls.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
Thibodeau season where everybody's hurt. No, there's no reason that they should win any playoff games whatsoever. And Nate Rob shows out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He was fun.
The Josh Smith, Corey Brewer.
Dude, that was so funny.
It was ridiculous.
Dismantling-
James Harden on the bench.
Dismantling of the Clippers is in the running for one of the, mainly just for how it just continues to. I just despised that Clippers team back in the day, and that felt real good.
That was so funny. They did it 2 games. It wasn't just 1 game. That was 2 games that they did that.
That's ridiculous.
Mine is Damian Lillard. I feel like anytime in the playoffs, people are just like, I don't want to play him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play against him because he's just so good. Even when he's playing against Thunder, it was like, I hate playing against him, but the second he beats us, I am going to be rooting for him.
It's undeniable.
In the next series.
Yeah, and this isn't the same kind of like a peripheral piece, but as far as playoff memories of guys showing out, the bubble we now know in hindsight was pretty clearly like just jacked up numbers because of, the human element that's missing. But watching Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell go back and forth in that series last year, and then the way it ended when Mike Conley almost hit that 3 to win the whole series, was just one of those
That
showouts.
was really fun. My favorite is that year that Danny Green got the 3-point record in the finals.
He would have been MVP had Ray Allen not hit that shot in the corner. Danny Green was that good in that series.
Was that the same year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
It was. Well, that was just such a fun series. Like that Heat Spurs finals was so fun, man. I'll never forget Danny Green. And now I think, has that been beaten now? Did Steph beat that record? The 3-point record or in the finals, or does Danny Green still have it? Either way, I don't care. I will always just remember Danny Green hitting all of those threes in that series.
Yeah. And beating that team.
Yeah.
Was great. That was glorious.
It really was.
Take John's back to it bigger
Okay. Do it again.
Take John's back to it bigger in victory. Guys, the Thunder have 6 picks in the playoff. That means they have 10%
The draft.
in the draft. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Playoff talk. In the draft, they have 10%. They're going to have 10% of all the players that are drafted.
I know.
Oh, I wrote notes, man. So here's what I did. We have 6, 16, 18, 34, 36, and 55.
Mm-hmm.
I've been repeating those numbers like they're the Lost numbers. Remember Lost? It was a popular show at one time.
yeah.
So this is what I did. I went back. I went back in the last 5 drafts, and I looked at all the players that were drafted at those places.
Oh, no.
To look at, this is kind of, I'm trying to set this is the bargaining stage of grief.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say, okay, if Thunder had this, basically looking at this, and I've come to the decision that
I'm really proud of you.
thanks. We are going to have to tank again. This is not the end of our tanking.
Yeah, it's not great. I've done this too. This is not where you want to be.
2020. This is who went at those numbers. Onyeka Okongwu, Isaiah Stewart, Josh Green, Theo Maledon,
Teo.
okay.
The one you
Tyler-
got Onyeka Okongwu right, and you didn't get your own team's player.
Tyler Bay, and Jay Scrub. Does that move the needle for anybody?
Jay Scrub is kind of fun.
That's 55.
I still think
Yeah.
Okongwu's played more.
Yeah,
in the
yeah, he
playoffs.
plays for them.
I think he's going to be decent.
Okay,
Isaiah
yeah, okay.
Stewart,
Beef,
all rookie team, fantastic.
beef stew.
Beef stew.
I'm all in on beef stew.
All right, let's go to 2019.
Beef.
It was Jarrett Culver,
Nope.
Chuma Okiki,
Yes.
Goga Bitadze,
Ooh, Goga.
Bruno Fernando, Cody Martin, and Kyle Guy.
Cody Martin, I think, still in the NBA, right?
Yeah, he plays for the Hornets.
Yeah.
Kyle
Is he a
Guy.
brother?
Yeah, they
Are
have
they the twins?
twins.
Twins.
And twins. Remember, twins used to be like a weird thing that our culture did.
Dude, people love twins in the
And
mid aughts.
Remember this?
No. 2018.
What in the world?
2018 was Mo Bamba, Zaire Smith, Lonnie Walker, the fourth,
Ooh, Lonnie.
Devontae Graham, Mitchell Robinson, and Arnondas Kolboka.
That one not that bad, except Mo Bamba's so
Yeah, that's the only one. Is the Mobamba one.
This the Evan Mobley of the draft, man.
Oh man.
I'm just
I
kidding.
know, I had a
everybody.
buddy.
I'm just kidding.
My
Oh,
buddy
he's
Jeremy
got
was
2 more
texting me
years.
last night.
Oh.
2 more years. I'll
Mobley.
I'll
Keep going
blaze
on,
through
man.
this.
Keep us
2017, Jonathan Isaac,
Yeah.
Justin Patton, TJ Leaf,
Nope.
Frank Mason,
No.
Jonah Bolden,
Nope.
and Nigel Williams.
That's not a great one.
That's a bad one. And the thing is, the Thunder, there's absolutely the potential for that to happen. The Thunder have the hard job of actually, because there's good guys that go after them.
Mhm.
You know, there's great guys that go at 7 and 8, but you have to figure out, can we figure out who they are and take them at 6?
That's my hope, because what they were able to see Lou Dort and find him when he was undrafted. So
Yeah.
it's all about them
Who
figuring
are the two
out.
international guys that people are really thinking Sam's going to swing on?
Sengun?
Yeah, and then the kid from Turkey.
Oh, yo mama.
I haven't watched him
Okay.
at all.
Okay, the last one, 2016, Buddy Hield,
Yeah.
Gershon Yabusele,
Mhm.
Henry Ellenson,
Ooh.
Tyler Eulis,
Ooh.
Malcolm Brogdon, and Marcus
Ooh.
Page.
Ooh, if you walk away with Malcolm Brogdon, and who was the first one?
Buddy Hield.
Buddy
Buddy
Hield.
Hield?
That one's one I
Buddy
got
just-
to.
That one's pretty
That's
good.
why I stopped at that one, because I was like, okay.
That one's
I was
okay.
like, I like this
That's
one.
acceptable.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
But the thing is that, that's 5 years out. And so, it's not for certain we're not done tanking.
No,
We're-
it's
I
most
would-
definitely not.
Yeah, I would say that they're certainly not. Certainly not.
But I think it'll be a different variation of the tank this year in the sense of like, and we've talked about this multiple times, but there's a difference of playing 5 to 10 guys on their first contract.
Yeah.
82 games and winning
Yeah.
30 of them compared to like having to force these older guys to sit. And I don't know what they're going to do with Kemba.
Yeah.
My assumption is they'll move him. I think having you're playing Scotty Barnes and Poku and Baisley and Dort and Shea and Teo and Ty Jerome and Isaiah Roby, and you're playing them 40, you're playing them all of your minutes.
Mhm.
You're going to be not very good, but you'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you'll see a clear, like, okay, well, now this year was such a strange hybrid because you're playing guys that don't feel like like Moses Brown. Like, I know, I'm the known Moses hater.
You're
But
such a hater of the
He's
Celtics.
a guy that you just didn't really have a clear vision of. Is he on the roster? Is he
Right.
not? Josh Hall. And then it's like, it just turned into G League Express at the end of the season. So I think you'll be able to actually put a roster on the floor that are guys that will potentially be there for the long haul, and they could still be bad enough to get into the top 10 of the lottery, which is important because one of the things I didn't remember until I looked it up last night, the Thunder have 2 guaranteed picks in the 2022 draft, the Suns and the Clippers, which my assumption is going to be in the 20s. Their pick is actually it's the traded pick to the Hawks that they got back in the Schroeder deal. But it's protected top 14. So I mean, if I was a betting person, I would say without question that the Thunder get that. But if they somehow figured out how to be mediocre, they also would lose their own draft pick.
It's also
Right.
really important that SGA one really like. I think last year we started to consider him to be like, okay, he could be the number 1 guy. But if he
Mhm.
takes another step, and if we don't have to sit him, I mean, sitting him because of injury or potential injury and whatever is just such a bummer. That was
Yeah.
really the reason that they became really hard
That's
to
the real
watch.
reason they became bad.
Yeah.
And twins.
Twins. I'm saying twins are coming back.
Are
Twins-
you? Are you
twins-
calling it?
Twins are back. They're
So-
they're about to have another moment.
Summer of twins.
Summer of twins.
Twins.
Hot twin summer.
But I
Twitter question.
Twitter. You want to hit the button? I'm not
I
ready.
don't have it.
Twinner.
That's why he just yelled it.
Twitter questions. All right, our first Twitter question comes from @Grief O'Brady.
Luke was about to drop like a real intentional like draft basketball nugget,
ready.
and you're like, Twitter questions.
I gotta go.
We gotta go.
Okay.
We got.
Luke, now you're
We're
wrong,
55 minutes in.
Grief
Yeah,
O'Brady
we gotta go.
wants to know: would you rather Kuminga fall to 6 or take Barnes at 6.
We kind of already talked about this.
Kaminga fall to 6. Keep going. We got to rapid
Would you
fire.
rather have Kaminga than Barnes?
I would, because he's higher upside.
Okay, our next Twitter question comes from at Ethan.
Hey, this
Nickel
is good. Just
4.
a good reminder. McKelly and Andrew are walking through every draft pick.
It's true.
Subscribe,
So, yeah, do
Patreon,
it.
/
Yo mama.
Dream Team.
OKC Dream.
There you go. OKC Dream Team.
Next Twitter question from at Ethan Nickel 4, who wants to know, your morning alarm has to be a member of the pod screaming at you to wake up. Who would you choose?
Who's the gentlest one?
McKelly, easily.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Dude, I
Yeah,
could be,
that'd be nice.
Dude, I can be pretty
I
gentle.
No,
No.
you would
I
not.
hear you scream every Friday at 6:15 to 30 a.m.
This is what I do if I was waking up. I say, good morning.
No, dude, you should do.
I feel uncomfortable.
If I had
morning.
you,
Yeah.
Luke, I'd want it to be that and it just progressively gets
But
louder,
it's just my face.
And it
when
never
near to you.
stops.
and it never stops.
Uh-huh.
If Jay was yelling at me, I wouldn't wake up because I'm so used to Jay yelling.
Yeah.
If Andrew did, I'd just feel like, oh,
This feels
Stop
out
it,
of
Dad.
wrong.
This feels out of his
All right.
personality.
Mhm.
Our
Yeah.
next Twitter question comes from at QCHawk88, who wants to know how many of the Thunder teams from 10 to 19 would win this year's NBA title. At least half, right?
Yeah, probably so.
Two of them.
We get to the good questions.
I mean, 12,
All the Kevin-
12
all the-
13, 16.
Every Kevin Durant team.
Yeah. Except for Plagues of Egypt.
Yeah, everything but 14, 15. Yeah.
Our next Twitter question
makes
comes
me
from
throw
at Ben Hanronimi,
It's all about timing, man.
Yep, it is.
who wants to know, if you had to put a serial ranking to the number 6 pick, what would it be?
Frosted Mini Wheats?
That's pretty good.
That's a good cereal. I'll eat it,
It's
but
a good
it's
one.
not my preferred.
that
Like,
gets
I'd
me
rather have
down.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, number 1 pick.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Apple Jacks, number 4.
Apple Jack.
Now, if we're talking oops, all berries,
Wow. Crackling Oat Bran, number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. That's good. Mini wheats. And I love mini wheats.
Yeah.
Hey, our next Twitter question
But they're
comes
not. You're not gonna form your whole franchise around Mini Wheats.
no, it's just sustenance. It's just
like
like,
you're
all
gonna
right,
have to go back to the store and get some Cinnamon Toast Crunch at some point.
Yeah. They'll go back next year.
Our next Twitter question.
yeah,
comes
like you're
from-
gonna be satisfied because you're full, but you're not satisfied because you enjoyed the
Every moment of
you
it.
know, yeah, the mouthfeel.
Our next Twitter question comes from at ThunderFan2415, who wants to know, what is your favorite hot drink and cold drink? Example, Sprite and coffee.
I love that there's an example. As if, what does he mean?
Mine is coffee and Diet Dr. Pepper.
The best is that
Probably.
he put them in the wrong order. So his favorite hot drink is Sprite, and his favorite cold drink is coffee.
Iced coffee and hot Sprite.
Uh-huh.
I put my Sprite in the microwave.
What's yours, Luke?
Favorite hot drink, coffee. Favorite cold drink, ice cold beer.
I'm super into DPZ.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all in on
It's
DPZ.
Dr.
superior
Pepper
to-
Zero?
Yeah, it's, true.
Yeah.
It's better
Really?
than Diet Dr. Pepper. Have you had the Dr.
Oh,
Pepper Zero that has cream soda in it?
Yes.
It's a little much.
It's too much for me. However, my wife loves She loves it. I do like DPZC. Dr. Pepper Zero Cherry. Very good.
Ooh.
It's
Will we
very
be in
good.
our 70s?
Yes.
Yes.
Still doing my wife. No one even knows what we're talking about.
I'll be like,
from
my
a
wife
show.
died last week. My wife.
Wow.
It's a weird thing to get a laugh out of.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, guys.
All right.
My wife left me finally after 50 years. My wife's been cheating on me with my wife.
God, my sister wives ran away together. Okay, guys, let's move on to our next Twitter question. And it comes from at Ben Vance, who wants to know, if you could go back in time and tell your November 2020 self that the Thunder had the 6th, 16th, and 18th pick, what would your past self's reaction be?
Similar to my current self, a lot of
I
disappointment.
would say that like halfway through the season, you're like, oh my gosh, they got lucky. Like they got really lucky. And then as the season goes on, you're like, oh no. Oh, like it just gets progressively worse.
But in November, we also still were clearly like, this team wants to be bad and get a top pick. And we're like, and 6. Like,
Yeah,
because you
it's a
kind of
bummer.
assumed, like, hey, this team could have actually put a little more effort out and gotten 6.
Yeah, true. It's a bummer.
Hey guys, let's move on to our next Twitter question. It comes from @FullCourtPresty, who says Presty has talked about needing to have patience for the rebuild. What would the most patient thing for the team to do be in the draft?
Kaminga.
Well, sounds like it's Keon. Actually.
Or Keon, you may be waiting forever.
Yeah.
You have to be very
Jones.
patient.
Kai Jones. Oh gosh.
It's another high upside,
Help me.
low floor.
Help me.
Let's move on to our next Twitter question.
That's
It
rapid
comes
fire.
from
Rapid fire.
@DortPoy.
The house is awake.
It says, do you
Time to
think
go.
the basketball gods mistook our prayers? The draft picks 1 + 5 = 6.
Yes,
Maybe.
absolutely.
That's also Nazi Muhammad's number, wasn't it?
Yeah.
15, 1 + 5,
Yeah.
6.
Our next Twitter question comes from @Paul R. Valentine, who wants to know, how does Poku's warm-up rank on the fast food scale? It's where he's
It's
walking
Chick-fil-A.
It's Chick-fil-A. It's number 2, no pickles, Chick-fil-A sauce.
no pickles. You always
Get the pickles
is that
out
spicy
of
or
here,
regular?
bro. Spicy, bro.
Dude, that's exactly what I order.
No,
Here's my
no
question.
pickles.
yeah,
No pickles.
yeah.
Do you order,
On.
what's your drink of choice?
DDP?
See, I often will go half and half lemonade.
Oh,
Half-
lemonade. Yeah, the lemonade's good. The tea is good too. Half and half.
Just everything.
Yeah, it's all good.
Do you do larger sizes? I always go with the bigger fry.
I often do.
Yeah, thank you.
Diamond Dallas Page.
All right, let's go to our next Twitter question. It comes from Kyle Panabaker, who wants to know, who will be the first player to post their offseason workout that we all inevitably overreact to?
Are we overreacting to Shay's
already
workouts?
doing it. He's
No, that dude's
No,
swole, man.
he's good.
I,
He
we
is
we already
super
have high
swole.
expectations for him.
If Poku,
It's either Poku or Baisley for me.
I'm done with the Baisley hype until he shows it to me on the court. But Poku, if Poku shows up, like if he takes his shirt off and he's just jacked, I think everybody will just be like, Poku, take over.
Yeah.
You know,
We don't even need a draft pick. Trade it.
right? This is our draft pick. Just turn down the draft pick whenever it's time for OKC to.
Poku would have gone number
pick.
1 in this draft looking the way he does.
Right, exactly.
on.
Yes, exactly. Like,
Who needs
that's
Cade?
right. Did you know that Poku's younger than Cade? That's what we would say. It's,
Is he really?
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
He really was 14 when we drafted him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Wow.
child labor
He's
laws.
so
Wow.
physically not
Wow.
even close to being done developing. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. He could be the best player on the Thunder
Is he still in puberty?
ever.
Yes, technically adolescence moves to like 24 now, minimally.
And mentally, you're still developing until you're about 25.
Which that's pretty clear from his dance.
Don't say anything else.